Rolling. It is Wednesday night, February 27th. It's our team call, and we have a very special guest speaker on tonight that I am going to introduce very shortly. But first, I want to say welcome. For those of you that don't know, our team has been hosting a sneak peek into coaching week for a bunch of people to kind of try out coaching before they dive in. So you might see some new from unfamiliar faces on here right now, and it's because they're trying out coaching for a week, so they are on our team call. So welcome to all of you guys who are trying this out this week. We're so excited that you're here, and we're excited to have you part of our awesome call where you guys are going to be in for a really good treat tonight with our speaker. Next thing I want to go over really quickly is our team calendar. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys really quickly so you guys know what's coming up. Obviously, you guys know that tomorrow's the last day of the month, so make sure you're pushing to lock in your February goals. While I'm talking, if you guys have anyone to recognize for this week, go ahead and post it in the chat so we can shout people out. And this is our team call, just so you got our team calendar, just so you guys know what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. You guys know that this is Shake Week with Carl. So Carl's doing this little incentive on social media. If you're talking about Shakeology and you hashtag Shake Week and you go through all that stuff, Carl's giving out $100 to 10 people a day, and he's kind of just going through and choosing, so you guys can do that. The Diamond Insider came out today, so they give us some of the information for what's coming in March. Just so you know, if you guys hit Success Club 20 before March 15th and you're on the cruise, then you will earn a photo op with Joel and Jericho. We have our Ultimate Portion Fix info group officially open. I posted that in both team pages, so make sure you go ahead and add yourself into that. We'll be starting to breadcrumb out some information on that beginning on the 1st. As you guys know, with our team calendar, everything is interactive. So if you go into this, the team calendar is posted in both team pages. You can click on these and it'll tell you all the information that you need to know about what's coming up. So you guys should know that on March 4th, we have the Ultimate Portion Fix dropping to coaches. You can get the certification and all of that stuff. We have the cruise this month. There's a summit ticket sale from the 24th until the 31st for $165 tickets. Our quarter ends next month, which is super crazy. And then we have a couple awesome guest speakers lined up for you guys for team calls in the coming weeks. So make sure you guys are just in tune with our team calendar. You're going through there, clicking on everything so that you guys know what is coming up. Want to just shout out some of the things Erica's posting in there. Tara, Sue, Sierra all hit Emerald this week. Congratulations, guys. And Ashley and Kenzie doing great. And obviously, you guys all know Erica is in her 3-star qualification with her team, which is awesome. And Lauren DeWitt is on week 3 of her 1-star qualification too, and she's crushing it. So congratulations. And anybody else, go ahead and throw it in the chat so we can shout you out. All right. I don't know where Natalie is. Natalie, do you have any other announcements or anything that you want to throw out there?
No, girl, I'm good.
All right. Well, and let's dive on in with our guest speaker. So I'm super, super excited to have you guys meet Anita. Anita is going to have, her topic tonight is something that I think is going to impact a lot of people, because she's going to be talking about success through adversity. And how many of you, just by a show of hands, have a lot of stuff go on in your life that just sucks? Good, then this is going to be for you, because we all have stuff that we have going on, but it's a matter of the people that succeed in this business are the ones who power through that stuff and through that adversity. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with who Anita is, she is a superstar diamond coach. I mean, that's the highest rank in the company, 15-star diamond. She is a 5-time elite coach. I think she's in Success Club for 77 months. If you're passed from the last national wake-up call. And she lives in Michigan. She's a mama of 2 and has a crazy life too. So Anita, I'm going to mute myself and just let you take it away. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'm very honored to speak with you guys. There's so many of you, 47 people. That's awesome. And you guys have a really great leader. I listened to Kelsey on the National Wake Up Call, and she totally crushed it. So I will just give you guys a little bit about me, just so I guess we can level the field, and so that you don't feel like I'm this crazy unicorn in the sky having hit all those accolades. So I'm going to take you all the way back to before I hit any of those accolades. So I had started Beachbody because I was 210 pounds. And I lost 70 pounds really quick with Chalene Extreme and Insanity. I had a really great transformation. I shared that story often, and my business sort of blew up just from constantly sharing that over and over again. And right when I became a coach, it was actually a huge lifestyle shift for me. I actually was a nightclub DJ in Orlando, Florida for, let's see here, 5 years. And it's funny because the clubs that I DJ'd at in Orlando are no longer there. Like, they're bulldozed. So, but I did work in the nightclub scene for 5 years. I had a heavy dependency on drugs and alcohol. That's how my husband and I met each other. And he was walking past me by the DJ booth. I saw him. It was like 2 a.m. and I was like, that guy is Mr. Right Now. So he was meant to be just a one-night thing, and then we never stopped hanging out. And the reason I really loved him was because he was so normal. I had a very not so normal life. My mom is a single mom, was for most of my life. She worked 2 jobs just to keep an apartment over our heads. My father, he had early onset dementia, schizophrenia, bipolar syndrome, and is in a nursing home in the age of 60, and he's 500 pounds. So the dad I had when I was younger was not that person. He was my main parent, my best friend. He was healthy. He was into Taekwondo. He was in the military. He taught me how to do everything. And he was the parent that kept me feeling safe. So watching him become sick and essentially fade out of my life was it put a huge dent in my joy and my happiness. I had a lot of depression and anxiety just from watching my parents fight. And then I became the center focus of a lot of abuse from my mother. So going into college, I actually was top of my class in high school and college. I graduated with almost a 4.0. Because it was my escape. School was this thing I could do and have control over, because I had absolutely no control over anything else. I lived in a very verbal and physically abusive household. So to just dive into my books and to do well at school was something that I felt like I could control. But then my high school senior year, I got a hold of a fake ID and I started going into nightclubs in Orlando by the time I was 17. And so by the time I was 20, I was hired in my first DJ gig, and then I was booked for like 3 or 4 nights until like 4 a.m. all over Florida. And the pay for that was like okay, but eventually they started paying me in drugs and free booze, and my life just sort of went spiraling until I met Eric, my husband. And he's this Michigander, that's why I'm here. And I saw him and I was like, oh my God, he's so nice and so attractive, and he just felt like home. And so we never stopped hanging out since that first night. We ended up moving to from Orlando to Florida. I quit DJing. I miraculously cut out a lot of alcohol and most of the drugs in my life. I think it had a lot to do with how young I was, that was so easy for me to shake. But I did have to go on antidepressants, and I did a lot of detoxes and things like that. So needless to say, by the time we got married and then I was pregnant, I had traded in my dependency on alcohol and drugs to food. So I was no longer smoking cigarettes. I was no longer using cocaine, and I was no longer drinking myself into oblivion every single night. So instead, I ate myself into oblivion. I mean, I was eating pints of ice cream. And by the time I got to the 6-month mark with my daughter, I was 200 pounds. I started my pregnancy at 140. So if that gives you any idea how much weight I gained. Because I didn't really have my white nightly wine to turn to, or my cigarettes. And so I gained a lot of weight. And Beachbody came into my life right when I was like, okay, I need a change. I saw my coach, Leslie Cordes. She's here in Michigan as well. But I saw her post on Instagram, or not Instagram, Facebook. This was before I was even on Instagram. But I saw her posting. She was a family friend. She had actually met my sister-in-law on a baby board. So I was like, oh, she knows my sister-in-law. She must be cool. So I stalked her, and every single post that she posted, and this is a good quick tip for you guys, success leaves clues moment, but everything she posted motivated me. Everything she posted inspired me. And at first I was like, I don't like you because you're challenging my status quo. You're making me feel bad about being 200 pounds and depressed. That was my first reaction. And then I started thinking when I woke up, I wonder what Leslie's up to today. I wonder if she did her workout. Or I wonder what kind of like personal development tips she's going to share with us today. Finally, I was like, listen, whatever you're doing, whatever like happy crack you're smoking, like sign me up because you're like healthy, you're happy, you're exactly where I want to be in life. Sign me up. And so she said, okay. I did this program, Shalene Extreme, and I started drinking this magical stuff called Shakeology. And I was like, I'm in, like, sign me up. And then in 7 months, I lost 70 pounds and I found my calling. This was my thing. And so, and I'll give you guys a quick, because my story goes way beyond this. So I was within 10 months, I became diamond. Within a year, I was able to leave my full-time job. I matched my income. And then by 18 months, I was at a 6-figure income. And by 22 months, I had retired my husband from his business in photography. He didn't have to do it anymore. I went elite top 10 in the company. I shot up to 15-star diamond. I shot up to elite top 10 2 times and million club status, all under 4 years. And our lives were completely 180. We went from living paycheck to paycheck. We were having to do so many things like no date night. We were saying, okay, no diapers because we needed gas. Like we were broke as a joke. And so for me, Beachbody was the only way out. It was our only answer. I was literally backed against a wall. We would have been homeless if I didn't do something about it. And like, I know this sounds crazy, but it's true. I sat there on my computer one night and just said, okay, I am going to do this Beachbody thing. My heart was on fire. After getting a couple $30, $40 paychecks, I was like, I am in. If I can keep doing what I'm doing, then maybe I can pay for some snow boots for my daughter. Or maybe I can pay for a couple bills here and there. Or maybe Eric and I can go out for a dinner. He was so stressed out by his business. He booked 43 weddings that summer and was sued 3 times for mistakes on wedding photos. We did not have any money, so people were suing us, and we were like, well, take it all because we've got nothing. And being that I was 25 and college education, graduated top of my class from UCF, I was so certain I was meant for more. I was so certain that I was created by whoever to be an impact on this world. My mom always said to me that you get one shot, you get one life. And so I always carried that with me. And so with the Beachbody thing, it was the only thing I had. The only thing that I knew that I liked and the only thing that showed any promise of income growth. So I just did it. I went after it. And I will tell you right now that it's not hard. What I did was 77 months in Success Club and this. The thing is, what separates me from somebody who didn't blow up their business is they didn't do this every single day. 365, no matter what, Monday through Sunday, I did this bad boy. On the toilet, throwing up sick, on vacation. If my day got away from me, you better believe I was up an extra hour finishing it. Like this, I made sure I applied the compound effect to this every single day. And I just pumped the well, pumped it. And then the water started to flow because I stayed consistent with the business activity tracker and the vital behaviors. And I got lucky. I went and purchased The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. The same day my coach said to me, we're going to do the team cup. You're going to join my team cup team. This was the first team cup ever. So this dates me. Okay. This was back in the DVD days. So she said, we're going to do this team cup thing and you've got to get to at least Success Club 5. And I'm like, oh crap. So now other people are counting on me, not just me. So that was the push I needed. That was the month that proved to me that I can do this. So everything I did on that team cup month, I just kept doing it. And I'm going to tell you guys more. It is this list, but I did something very magical to this list, and I'm going to tell you what that is in a few minutes. So here's where I'm going to prove my theory that this needs to be done every day to have success. So in 2015 and 16, I was top 10 at Beachbody. Everything just seemed to have been going really great. My life was perfect. We bought a new house. We moved to Texas. We had crazy amount of income coming in. And all of a sudden, I had major depression. Like I woke up one day and couldn't sleep for days. And that kind of steamrolled into anxiety and it steamrolled into depression. I had worked myself so freaking hard in my business to the point where I crashed. I stressed myself out so much through 15 qualifications over 15 months. And every qualification, Star Diamond qualification, I drove myself sick. And so I kind of just took a little bit of a backseat on my business. And it became very hard for me to show up. And then in 2016, I became pregnant with my son and found out about, and I am just now starting to talk about this out of my mouth. So it may sound a little choppy when I do it or hard for me to say because I still struggle saying it. And sometimes it's hard for me to even say because it doesn't seem real. Hold on one sec. I found out my son at 20 weeks had Down syndrome. And I was destroyed only because I had no education on the matter. I had no idea what Down syndrome was. I've seen kids with Down syndrome, but what did that mean for my life and my perfect life? My crazy high income, my beautiful house, my happy marriage, my beautiful kiddo, like now we've got this happening and it really destroyed me emotionally. But I just kept showing up every day and doing my business activity tracker, even in the face of being stressed out and feeling terrible. And then I just kept sharing and actually met some really great people on social media who had wonderful, amazing children with Down syndrome. And I fell in love. And eventually, by the time I was 25 weeks, 30 weeks into my pregnancy, I was ecstatic to be Jack's mom. I was dreaming about it. I could not wait to be his forever mama and he be my forever baby. I was ready for the sweetest, most gentle, loving human being that I knew that was going to come into my life and change it. After meeting all these amazing kids with Down syndrome, I was like, this kid is going to be a game changer. At 32 weeks, I was sitting on the couch watching TV. Again, everything's perfect and happy and cheery. And I realized after a few hours that I haven't felt him kick or move in a while, and I panicked. And so I made Eric go out to, I think it was Toys R Us or something, and get a fetal Doppler, like a cheap little fetal Doppler thing. And we couldn't figure out how to get it to work. So I went into the emergency room that night, called my midwife. I said, I haven't felt Jack kick in almost, I would say, a day. And that particular day, I had really bad anxiety. And I think it's because my body knew what happened. So I laid there on the hospital bed, praying and pleading with the universe, with God, whoever, just pleading and begging in my head for him to have a heartbeat. And they found a heartbeat. They did the Doppler and we found my heartbeat. And so at first everybody's excited. We can breathe easy, hugs, high five. And I realized that the heartbeat was super slow. I'm like, that's my heartbeat. And so we went on to do an ultrasound, and then we found out that Jack had died. And I will never forget the cloud of darkness that settled over my head that day. I became a completely different human being. Everything that I thought was perfect and great, this new life I had built, I got out of being in poverty, and I was able to recover from alcohol and drug abuse and things that were happening with my father. I got to this perfect life, and my perfect life shattered. And that night I was induced, and I delivered my 32-week baby into my arms. And I could see, because the Down syndrome tests that we did were 99%. So I was like, maybe there's just 1% chance that he doesn't have Down syndrome, but he did. I could see on his beautiful face, he had Down syndrome, and he was perfect. And I kissed his cold skin and said goodbye to him the next morning. And I went to bed and didn't come out for 3 weeks. And I would lay on the floor in his room. I had put everything together for him, his crib, his decorations. I laid on that floor and I just lived there, and I sobbed, and I held on to every little memory I had, every little kick. I held on to all the baby clothes I bought for him. And you guys are going to think I'm crazy about the next thing I did. This is going to sound absolutely nuts, and it's not because I'm heartless, but it's because I had no other choice. I did my business activity tracker even through that. And when Eric saw me doing it every morning, he was like, dude, you can't even get out of bed and you're getting up to do that. And I was like, my family depends on it. The living people in my life need my income. You guys, this house, this roof over my head is because of the business I built. So I can't walk away. I can't give up on my team. They were showing up for me every day in the challenge groups, showing up on social media, messaging me, leading our team calls. So I took a back seat on leading my team as a leader because I just couldn't. I couldn't get on calls with people and be like, let's do this, girl, because I was damaged goods. I was a mess. But I got on my business activity tracker every single day. And I did as much as I possibly could and then went back to bed. I knew that if I just got that workout in, and it took me about a week and a half to 2 weeks to start like drinking my Energize, doing the workouts again. But I knew if I just did that, I could at least share on social media, post about it, feel well enough to make a post. And if I wanted to go back to bed, I would. And 9 times out of 10, I did. And then there's so much of the story. Hold on one sec. That year, I was number 12 in the company. Here's why. I just kept doing this. I kept doing this, and I kept telling my team to do it. And when they were like, what do we do? You're not doing well. Are you going to quit? Are you going to leave? I was like, no, I did this. I don't feel well. I'm very low. I feel terrible. But we going to do this thing together, team, because you're my family too. And I knew, this may sound corny, but I always said to my team, my baby would have wanted it this way. My baby would have wanted me to show up. My baby would not have wanted me to give up because I lost him. So I just kept doing it. And we hit elite, number 12 in the company for, I think that was the 3rd year I hit elite. No, 4th year I hit. Yeah, that was the 4th year. And it was proof to my team that this was the key. And proof to my husband because he saw me doing it every day. So before I go into the next part 2 of my story, I want to share with you how I was able to use this, but blow my business up. Because this seems so simple, right? Too good to be true. Like it's just this. In 15 minutes, you can build a 6-figure income. No. I got a hold of a book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And I basically read all his books. And I figured out very early on, also Chalene Johnson, my mentor from afar, said, that if you want success in business, you have to get in front of as many people as possible. So I knew that some things had to be 10x in my business. So I applied the 10x rule to the business activity tracker. So for me, initiate connections and add followers, it says 20 minutes. I did that for 2 hours a day when I pushed for top 10. The IG stories, there wasn't IG stories, it was Facebook back then. And I did all of those things, but I did them a lot. I posted my daily life, healthy workout clips, and then calls to action, and then invite 5 people, try 100. I was inviting hundreds a week because I was 10xing the people I was adding to my network. I wasn't just doing initiate connections and add followers for 20 minutes. Remember, I was doing it for 2 hours. I'm only telling you guys this if you are interested in going faster in your business. And this business loves speed and it loves momentum. And if you want to build momentum and speed, you have to be willing to put in the time and the effort. If you're a newer coach and you're just coming on board, just doing the basics is fine. That's great because you're going to get used to it and you're going to become a pro at it. But once you become a pro and you're ready for more, know that you can 10x every single one of these things. And that's how the coaches that have gotten to the top have done that. They've done more of the simple things that you're seeing on this list. So recognize achievement. I'm on my computer recognizing people all day. I'm doing it in my team page. I'm on my social media recognizing new coaches and people hitting emerald and diamond and things like that. So all of these things, yeah, it's too good to be true, right? But it's not, because everything on here can be quadrupled, tripled. And so when I decided, when I was able, because you're probably wondering, gosh, how do you become so successful with this? What's the secret? There's no secret. It's just doing this, but doing it a lot. So I was doing all these things for 6 to 8 hours a day when I left my job and did this full time. But when I was working full time, I didn't have time to do that. So I only 10x a couple of things, and that was adding to my network and inviting. I knew if I just kept that ball rolling, that wheel turning of getting more people watching and more people invited, I would grow faster. So cut to 2016, we decide 2017 to get pregnant again. And we're super pumped. We're like, okay, this is our rainbow baby. Everything's going to be good. My business is starting to rev up again because I'm slowly 10xing my success club tracker again and doing more things. Got pregnant. And then at the 20-week ultrasound, right before I went into the 20-week ultrasound, I thought, I'm going to use that crazy old Doppler thing we bought and just see if I can just make sure I hear the heartbeat, because I don't want to go to the appointment and have what happen again. It was a nightmare of mine to go through that trauma again. I said, there is no possible way in God's green earth that this is going to happen to me again. And I did the Doppler and there was no heartbeat. And I was like, holy shit, this cannot be real life. My husband packed up the car. We drove into my high risk doctor. He was like, yeah, you're going to be fine. This is crazy. Baby was gone. 20 weeks. I was induced that day, delivered that night, said goodbye the morning after. Went back to my second nursery that I decorated for another baby and sat in it again for weeks. But this time it was worse because it was 2. It was 2 babies and I was pissed. And this time I didn't do such healthy stuff. I was given Xanax at that delivery, and you better believe I got more of it. And I started smoking cigarettes again. So I was doing probably double the amount of Xanax I was prescribed. I was drinking, I was smoking cigarettes, and I was sitting in my garage dead of winter smoking all day. And I threw everything in my business out the window. I stopped working my business completely. I somehow still hit Success Club 10 each month. And I think that's just from the years of having done what I've done and just having random people come through and buy challenge packs and Shakeology and stuff like that. But I stopped. I gave up. I didn't do this. I stopped this for almost 2 years. I worked with my coaches that I still had. They all knew I was going through some SHIT. So they were like not really trying to push for anything with me. And I pulled way back and did not move my business forward. And my income dropped by half. I lost half my income and half my team. And I barely hit Success Club and I barely hit Elite. And that was my next wake-up call. Hello, what do you need to do, Anita? You need to get back on track. You need to get your life going. Your kids need you. Your kiddo needs you. Your husband needs you. Your business, your team is falling apart without you. You need to get your presence back in there. And so once I was finally on the right medication and started seeing therapy, and we started the adoption process and I started to heal, I went back to the basics. I just did this very basic, once a day, 1 hour. And I built that up every single month. I did more and more and more and more. And it was hard because I was gaining a ton of weight from depression and just eating and drinking and smoking and not caring. So it was hard. I started over. I completely started over and rebuilt my business again. I only hit Elite those years because coaches canceled underneath me. Their diamonds rolled up to me. They were emeralds. They turned diamond. So it was the only reason I went Elite. Elite was not on my radar because I was not working my business. So I just said, Eric was like, okay, what did you do to build your business? Like, where did you start so we can start over? And I was like, okay, I got to do this business activity tracker thing again. So every morning I got up, I got my little sheet out and I said, all right, Anita, 1 hour. I take smoke breaks, go have a glass of wine at night. Nothing wrong with glasses of wine, but I was combining that with Xanax. So I was doing a lot of things that I needed to change, but it all started with this. Started with working out again. Started with drinking my shake again. Started with, basically, guys, I did Anita 2.0. I did everything I did in 2012. I had to do it again. I started over. I hit rock bottom again. And this time, though, was harder because I had 2 losses to grieve. And I had found out I had horrible hypothyroid and Hashimoto's. And found out that that was probably the reason I lost the babies. And I was so completely self-absorbed and hated myself. I hated me. And I knew I had to get back to the Anita that was rocking out this business before. So started working out, started doing everything, drinking my go-go juice, doing my Shakeology, and it started to take off again. I was growing again. I was doing positive things to fill my time, and those things compounded. And my business, like as of the end of 2017, and then I went through the adoption journey, you guys, that's even harder. I'm not even gonna go there. That's a whole nother call. But I went through the adoption journey and through Warren and the adoption journey, and this simple sheet, my life has actually never been better. I have never been happier. My business has never been stronger. My team has never believed in me more after seeing the shit hit the fan and me come back. They're like, okay, proof. If you do the business activity tracker, you can be successful, because I had to rebuild my business. I went from 36 diamonds to 5. I had to rebuild like crazy, and I'm still rebuilding, but I can say that my leaders are stronger than ever. My team's growing really fast again, and my income is growing faster. My husband's on board doing the BAT now because he's seen it work for me time and time again. I am like a science experiment and proof that this thing works. So if you are doubting in any way your life, if you think life is hard for you right now, think about everybody has hard. Everybody has some shit going on that makes life harder than the next person's life. Nobody's hard beats anyone else's. We all have it. It is the decision you make in the face of that challenge and that hard It's a decision you make. That's what's going to dictate what happens in your life, not how you feel. How you feel, going by your feels won't really get you anywhere. Using your brain and deciding, okay, I need to go back to the basics. I just need to do this thing. And I need to be consistent, because life will throw some crazy shit your way. Think about me. Be like, if she can do it, I can do it. But it's all about getting back to basics and really staying in touch with the basics. And even on those hard, rough days, make sure you get it done, because your business depends on you. Your family depends on you. If you are in a position where you need to quadruple your income for your family, anybody in that position need to double it, quadruple it, like have those goals, you have no business taking a day off. No business. I have never, other than the 2 years after my losses, I took time off from this thing and it destroyed my business. But when I did it every single day, 365, and I 10x'd it and I just stayed consistent, my business was on fire, and it's back to being on fire because I do this every single day. So let me be proof. If you're looking for the answer to success in rocking this business, take that new, it's called the Success Club system now, take it and run with it, and make sure every one of your coaches has it too, and pour belief in them that this thing works, because it does. Everyone asks me, how have you been so successful? How have you built your business? What's the secret? And the secret is consistency. I am consistent to a fault. I never miss a day, no matter what. And I've been on team calls all day today with my team, and I have not worked my BAT yet. And I have a team call right after this with Jatana Jackson at 9. And then at 10 p.m., I will finally be doing this. But I'm not going to skip it because it means something to me. So with that being said, I'm going to look at the chat for questions. And again, like, I might sound really almost heartless talking about what I went through, but you almost have to be able to say it without crying. So I'm just going to say it. I'm going to let it come off, and I'm not going to let myself start crying. Okay, so if you guys have questions, I'm here to answer them. I know it was a boatload of info, but I wanted you guys to know that this business is easy. It really is easy. Overcomplicating it is the problem. Inspiration.
One person asked on here, Natalie asked, how are you structuring your day having 2 kids? Because we do have a lot of moms on our team that are trying to fit this all in between babies and life.
Yep. So the best investment I ever made for my business was some sort of childcare. It doesn't have to be hours of childcare, and working in pockets of time. So I worked during nap time. I worked before she got out of bed. When I just had one, it was a lot easier. I'll be honest. It was a lot easier. It was night and day, actually. Having 2, night and day, totally different situation. So I would work in pockets of time around her schedule. And then I got a gym membership to the YMCA, and I brought her there for 2 hours a day. And I built my business that way, 2-hour watch. And then as I grew and earned more income, I was then able to hire more childcare. And she eventually went on to have full-time childcare for a while. Now with Warren, I actually had him home with me without any babysitter, nanny, anything like that, for the first 18 months. And that was hard. And it was one of those times when I went back to just doing the basics with the BAT, and working in pockets of time, and having that gym membership, still gold, being able to use that drop-in, but also taking a little bit of money and putting aside and finding somebody to help you out with the kids is the main way you can invest financially back in your business.
Do you have any personal development that you would recommend for somebody going through adversity or somebody who is struggling with consistency?
Okay, so for consistency, I would say The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, and then Go Pro by Eric Worre. So that's W-O, just type it in there. Worre, Eric Worre. Now, adversity books. There's just so many. Gosh, like, I don't know if you can see all the books behind, but those are all the adversity books, I think. The Mastering Your Mean Girl is the one that really comes to mind. Mastering Your Mean Girl. That's all about negative self-talk, what's happening in between your ears, like the thoughts that are happening, like that's what that book's about. And it really does help. Anything Brene Brown. Brene Brown is amazing. Oh, anything Gabrielle Bernstein. She just gives me the good feels. Those two ladies, like if you're going through some crap, they absolutely will bring you up out of the ashes. They're amazing. So any kind of podcast they do, the books they read, just follow them. They've both been through some SHIT themselves. So that's why I love hearing from them, because I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it.
What would you say if for somebody that has kids and it's crazy schedule, what are the most important things on the tracker that you would 10x to move your business quicker?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So initiate connections, add followers. I tell my leaders, if you're going to dump time into anything, that's got to be it. Get that audience bigger and bigger. Fill that following, build that following, because that's your audience. That's your storefront. So that, and then 10x your invites. Everybody that likes, comments, or follows an Insta story gets an invite from me with a video. And it's simply, hey, thanks for following me. Are you on any health and wellness journey or on a health and wellness journey? I'm a mom of 2 and I'm a lifestyle coach. And then I wait for their answer. And if they say, yeah, I'm on a fitness journey, then I send them an invite. Well, great. Do you mind if I share with you how I coach my clients? Everybody gets that. So I'm inviting like crazy. So yeah, 10x your invites, 10x your connections and followers. And if you're looking for a great app to kind of boost that, right now I've been having success with Like Growers. It's a website. I've heard people use Captivate and they liked that. I didn't have much luck with Captivate. Now I do love the Chalene Johnson 531 method. That's like 5 photos, comment on 3, and follow once. Doing that with people who geotag your area or who follow a hashtag that you're interested in. So today, before I got on here, when I had a few minutes, I did the 531 method with our local zoo. And everybody that checked in or posted got a 531 on their account and an invite if they followed me back. So I'll wait for them to follow me back and then they get an invite. So then I start having conversations based on the invite conversation.
Yeah, that was one I saw come in here too, is like how, for newer coaches that are on here, how do you, I guess, instruct your new coaches on who to follow and how to find people?
Yeah. So in the beginning, when they're fresh new coaches, I say work within your dirt list. Another great book is Get Over Your Damn Self. She calls it the dirt list. So it's anybody that would buy dirt from you. So mom, dad, best friends. Find and jog your memory and find anyone that you've been connected to in some capacity and add them or follow them on Instagram or add them on Facebook. That's where you're going to start growing your warm market. But then I also plant the seed. Okay, we're going to need to start talking about raising up your followers on Instagram. And I introduce the 531 method. And my girls that I challenge, I've got a diamond group that I've challenged to do the 531 for an hour a day. Some of them have built their following up by 1,000 followers this month alone. So it works. They just sit there but they're full-time coaches, so they can sit down for an hour and do that. And then I have some that have an assistant that do it for them. But when you are new, focus on people you're already connected with, because those are the people that know, love, and trust you. When you're just coming out the gates with the business, and if you don't know the person, they're not going to buy from you, and they're not going to listen to what you have to offer because they don't trust you. So you have to be talking to people that you know and trust. And then in that conversation, it needs to be very authentic. I'm starting a new business venture. Will you be my guinea pig? I need somebody to practice on. Will you join my challenge group and do this with me? That's going to be your first success club points, or people that you know. 531 is 5 likes. So like 5 photos. 3 is comment on 3. If you are really, like tight on time, just do 511. So maybe 1 comment and 1 follow. But for me, like, if I really want to create a quality connection with this person, I try to stick to 531. But if it's just whoever, I'm like, okay, I'll do 411. I'll like 4, comment on 1, and then follow. But it's something I'm making my presence known on that page.
Yeah, and just to clarify too, that 531 is for one person. So like, it's not like 5 likes on one, and then just so you guys know that. Monica asked, are you having more success on Facebook or Instagram?
My business right now is 100% Instagram. And it used to be 100% Facebook. And during the 2 years I basically took off from coaching, I had some really bad growing pains because I had to shift everything to Instagram, and I was not signing up people because I had no presence on Instagram yet. So I had to build that up too. But yeah, it's Instagram for me.
One thing that I really love is that you basically like said that no matter where you are in your business, it doesn't matter how long you've been here, it doesn't matter what your rank is in the company, that you're still doing the exact same things. It's not like you're sitting back with your feet up waiting for people to come to you. And I just really appreciate hearing that from somebody that, has been in the top 10, that has achieved these great milestones in our business, to know that no matter what, like, we still are going to be fighting for this every single month and making this happen for ourselves. So thank you for being transparent about that.
And you know what? If you quit and pull back, and you get to a point where you're making multi-6-figure income, if you stop, it does go away eventually. It will. So you can't look at this as like, I'm going to work really hard for 3 years, win the lottery, and then be done. When you become a Beachbody coach and you commit yourself to it, this is your life. This is, yes, you'll get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm making a good, comfortable income. I don't have to like kill myself every day and work this thing like crazy. But you're going to always need to put something into this business. It needs your presence. If you pull back from your business, it will suffer. So it's like consistency in the beginning. If you drop your consistency, it's a lot harder to get back up and going again than it would have been to just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's a job at the end of the day. You can't just like stop going to work in 4 years and then think that things are going to be great. You're not going to get fired, right? Like, it is a job at the end of the day.
I have coaches who are like, oh my gosh, you still work your business? Like, I thought by now you just like kick back. And I'm like, no, I'm just getting started. Like, no, you cannot kick back with this. You have to work. And I never let my coaches believe that this is like winning a lottery and it's something you get successful overnight and that you don't have to really do work. You got to work your butt off to make this thing work. It's not going to get handed to you.
Yeah. Jessica asks, for coaches that are on the fence about the business and putting 2 feet in the door, what would you say to them? We do have a lot of coaches on here that are sitting in for our coach sneak peek and getting ready to take that plunge. And so what would you say to them?
Well, I would say that with what I said, I don't think I would normally say all of that to somebody that wasn't already a coach, because I've been at this for almost 7 years. So that story is pretty complicated and in depth. But I will say that becoming a coach was the best decision. I can't talk. Best decision I ever made for my life. I'm healthier. I'm happier. My kids have an incredible future ahead of them with what we've set up for them as far as like school funds. So many awesome things have happened because of this business, and it's made me stronger, a stronger leader, a stronger mom, a stronger wife. And my husband also loves it because it's made me a happier person. Our culture is amazing. The people that you're going to meet on your team are going to become your best friends. And you guys are going to be like, when you come on board as a coach, it's like a doorway opens to positivity. It's like, oh, all these people exist who want better. That's amazing, because I wasn't sure that even was possible. So I stopped hanging out with some really toxic people when I became a coach, because I had my new coach family and they were all into growth and being successful and having fun. So of course, I'd say I would have joined and signed up as a coach 1,000 times over.
Anybody else? All right. Well, we know you have another call right after this one, so we're going to let you get going. But thank you so much for coming on here tonight and sharing your heart with us. I know it's not easy to talk about, but just know that we appreciate you and we are all sending love to you. And yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. You have a great night.
All right. Good night, guys. We'll see you next week.